Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Barry Spencer. Barry is the co-creator of Wealth with No Regrets, where they help individuals donate to charities of their choice so they can save hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars on tax while supporting causes they care about and cement a meaningful legacy. Barry has written and contributed to 4 books, including a book with Kevin Harrington, an original shark on the TV show Shark Tank. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Barry Spencer.
Hey, thanks, Ed. Thanks for having me on. Good to be with you.
Well, first off, Barry, why do you do what you do?
Well, it's interesting, Ed, that my father was a business owner, very successful financially, and he and I were very close. And my father lost a battle with cancer at retirement age. And when he lost a battle with cancer at retirement age, I became co-executor and co-trustee of his estate. And I reflected back on a moment that he and I had before he passed away. And he said, Barry, you're going to need to take care of Mom. And it was mind-blowing to me that my father, being as successful as he was, as accomplished as he was, as thoughtful as he was, as savvy as he was, that he would ever think that I would need to take care of Mom, because hadn't he already taken care of Mom? And what I realized, he had done his part of accumulating assets, but the folks he went to help him, the advisors, hadn't done their part. And so I inherited some of the anxiety that he had of taking care of Mom. And that's why I do what I do, and the creator of Wealth with No Regrets, realizing that if you don't look at wealth holistically and in an integrated way, you, your family, your lifestyle, your future, so there can be some regret in there where you don't measure up everything you wanted to do.
And many of our listeners, Barry, are owners of small businesses themselves. And what advice might you have for those who own a small business but also want to do some investing as well for their future?
Yeah, so the important thing is when it comes to investing in a small business, take a look at your total picture. A lot of times when a small business owner turns to an investment advisor to manage money, that investment advisor treats them like they would any other client that walks through the door, comes up with some kind of portfolio allocation, and does the same thing for everyone else. The reality is, when you invest as a small business owner or medium business owner or the like, whoever you get advice from needs to take a look at the whole picture of your situation and realize that you have a concentrated position in a company, in an investment, and whatever you invest outside of that needs to be taken into account in realizing you have a concentrated position inside of that company. And you maybe shouldn't invest the way someone who has as a professional that has a job, or an executive that doesn't have that. I mean, it really needs to be thoughtfully considered in their particular situation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a friend who is with the AICPA, and he has conversations with people who have small practices all the time, or he says, not jokingly, widows of folks who were in small practice. And one of the questions that he'll be asked is, my husband passed away. What do I need to do to sell the firm? And his first question is, has the funeral taken place yet? And if the answer is yes, he says, unfortunately, there's probably nothing left of that firm already. So That's even right. Accountants can fall prey to it.
Yeah. And honestly, to be fair, I mean, my business partner is a member of the AICPA. He's a CPA, former auditor, CFO, and the like. And one of the biggest mistakes that we see for business owners is they don't consider the future, and especially when it comes to selling their business. The number one mistakes they make is they start thinking about planning after the sale before it's too late, when it's too late, after they've already sold. If you want to think about selling, you need to be planning 8, 12, 16 months in advance of that sale to maximize the value, minimize the tax, and really be prepared to set up an income stream and an investment program that works for the business owner. So pre-planning is really where we come in, because most of the people that serve the business owner, the CPA, or someone who does their books, the accounting, they don't really think that way from a planning perspective. They really think from the rearview mirror, well, what happened? What do we need to do now? When what you really need to do is be thinking forward.
Yeah, and that's actually an unfortunate thing about the business model of CPAs. They, no offense, but they probably shouldn't be certified financial planners had CPAs really understood what they could be looking at the future.
That's exactly right. And CPAs are not financial planners. CPA comes with what they call PFS, and my partner has the designation. It's called CPA PFS, and that's a planning designation that is only available to CPAs, and that includes a planning and tax planning component to it that's not a part of the CPA process. And so for us, when we think about it, we're like, we need to be focused on the planning component so we can look for opportunities, not look backwards at what already took place. And so that's our model. That's our business, because that's what we find missing all the time.
One more question. What have you learned about just investing in the state of the market with regard to what's happened with COVID?
Yeah, I mean, with COVID, it's hit everybody, right? I mean, COVID has addressed every business. And what we have found from investing, that just like a business owner in control of his business can navigate the market that business is in, when it comes to investing outside of your small business, you want to invest in companies that you believe can navigate whatever that environment is now coming out of COVID. And most people just own everything in the market, right? I just own 1,000 companies. I own it through different mutual funds, different exchange traded funds, bond funds, and the like. They have no idea what they own, and they haven't targeted businesses that are really good at navigating their business and their economic environment for their industry now coming out of COVID. And there's grand opportunities there from an investment perspective.
And Barry, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
I'm going to say my dad is definitely one of my big heroes, maybe not the only one, but my dad was born and raised on a farm, who showed me that you can accomplish anything you want in life if you'll do the right things, do right by people, and treat them well with honor and respect, and put them first. You can accomplish anything you want in life for yourself, but more importantly for them first. And I just really respect that. He did it from the ground up, and he led me on a pathway to be able to do it from the ground up as well. And that's just super honorable. And he gave me a head start being able to do that.
And lastly, Barry, how can somebody contact you?
Absolutely. Wealthwithnoregrets.com. That's all spelled out, wealthwithnoregrets.com. And my phone number is 678-278-9632, or it's simply Barry, Barry, at wealthwithnoregrets.com.
All right, Barry Spencer, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ed.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.